If you're planning a wedding right now, this episode might feel slightly uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because we're not talking about flowers and seating charts or whether you should invite that cousin you haven't seen for 6 years. No, we're talking about marriage hot takes. Things we believe.
I just have oh, no.
There we go. It's off.
Things we believe you should know before you get married.
Honey, we need to chat.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Honey, We Need to Chat. The podcast all about communication in relationship and how important it is for us to grow in that, prioritize that, and just do it. You know, let's just do it.
Just communicate.
That's what you need to do. You just need to do it. Welcome.
Anyway, welcome
us.
back to Honey, We Need to Chat. Yes, we are the podcast all about communication and relationship.
We're also people with many talents as well. Amy has just stepped into a new world of talent and has made sourdough for the second time.
Yeah.
And it was great.
It was great today. It was very yummy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would say I've stepped into the talent world of it yet, but I have stepped into the world and I've discovered a whole new world in this space. And we've also never had as much engagement on our social media
Yeah, keep it
as
up.
we have
It's good. It helps.
when it comes to sourdough.
Yeah.
So it is a hot topic.
It is. It's a fun topic though. And so we've named her
Jane Doe.
Jane Doe. Jane Doe is our new baby.
Yeah, Jane
The new
Doe
one.
Keeble.
You had I saw one reel that you put up or something about how sourdough is like equivalent, like the adult version of a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, Tamagotchi,
That's cool. That's cool.
So true. It's like your little pet. Except this one doesn't beep at you and die all the time. Although it could die.
Could die. Just doesn't beep. Does it silently.
Yeah.
And that's what you just need.
Exactly.
I have also moved into a world of talent with pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun. I had my first run of it last night. It was a lot of fun. If you've played pickleball, let me know because it is a lot of fun. I have never played before. I haven't really been into tennis and stuff like that. And so, like you asked me before I went out, you're like,
have you played it? Yeah.
No, you said, are you excited to go? I'm like, yeah, kind of. Like, I mean, it's just tennis, right? I'm not overly into tennis, but it was so much more fun for me. Like, because the ball has different holes in it, right? So the ball, it's kind of like a big ping pong ball with a bunch of holes in it, but I feel like it's more like solid than a ping pong ball too. But I felt like I had so much more control of the ball. Like if I was playing tennis, the ball would be going everywhere because it's a big bat. This is a smaller bat. And I don't know, I just had so much fun.
Yeah.
There's less running the tennis, but it was still good running and it was fun. I had a lot of fun and I became pro overnight. So I became pro.
I do feel like it's either sourdough or pickleball when you get to the middle of your life. And so I feel like we're probably giving away a little bit too much with
pickle sour.
Our recent pickle sour ball.
We have an adventurous life.
We do.
It's
we
pretty
do.
wild.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's what age does to you. Anyway, we are
There's
back.
other things.
We are back. We've got new interests we're bringing into our lives. One of our interests is the icebreakers we're about to do because we've been enjoying them.
But you're about to run away too.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm actually literally after we record this episode, we'll be heading down to Melbourne.
You'll be heading down.
I will be heading down to Melbourne for an intensive for coaching, which is really good. It's been a while since I've done any upskilling of my coaching post the previous stuff that I did. Anyway, it's been a while and I'm really ready to learn. It's been a while since I've done any kind of formal training to upskill. So I'm really excited.
That's cool.
I am actually really excited, although it's going to be a really full-on course, but that's fine. That's good.
It'll be good. Every time you upskill, like I always have your clients in mind. It's like, man, they're going to get so much from this as well, which is really cool.
And I love being around other coaches. I love talking about it. I love learning about it. And I love just being in that room and being like, yes, this is what, like learning and talking about that stuff is just it. I love it. That's why I do it. So it's going to be nice to be with new people. I have to make new friends. I'm a little bit like, oh, do I have
Amy's a homebody too.
I am a homebody.
So she's stepping out in the big bad world. I'm just, this tangling me. I can never get this.
Bliss.
All right, I'm stuck in my face. Oh yeah. Okay, we're good. All right, that's just worse, but that's all right. All right, so down to the highlights of our podcast. If you're going to get anything,
if you're
going to take away anything from our podcast, take away this. This is our would you rather questions, which was actually our most popular stuff on socials.
Yeah,
other than Jane Doe.
I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that because the effort that we put into these episodes and then the 5 minutes of pulling together would you rather questions. But I think
10 minutes.
Sorry, 10 minutes. It's telling of where everybody's at.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Before we do go on, if you have time right now, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, leave a comment on anything you would like to. If you'd like to support us in any way, that is the best way that you can do that. So head on over there, do that really quickly before you continue on. But let's go into Would You Rather. All right, cool. Would you rather, number one, would you rather have a partner who treats the thermostat like a high security vault, like it's always locked on the same temperature no matter what, or a partner who treats the thermostat like a DJ booth where they're changing the temperature every 15 minutes based on their vibe?
Well, I am the second person.
Yes, you are.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'd want you to be like that because they would be in competition with each other.
Well, the thing is, I feel like I would want you to be the first one because then I can predict what I'm wearing. But the thing is, with the second one, I can't predict your vibe. And so I'm constantly hot or cold. I'm never nice.
To be honest, the temperature really irritates me. This whole week I've been in a very bad mood because it's been so humid. So
yeah, it's weird. Our temperature here, so we're rural Victoria, so we're not near the ocean, and we're south, so we're not in the tropics. So the north of Australia is tropical, south of Australia is not.
More foresty,
yeah, and it gets very dry. So we've been in a very dry season. We're getting into now wetter season, and it's very tropical feeling, which is super strange for us. So,
yeah, it's really abnormal, and it's just a perfect week for our air conditioner to be broken.
Yeah, and air conditioning breaks. Yeah.
So don't even get me started on the thermostat.
Okay, well, which one are you going to pick though?
I think I'd rather, if you were going to be all whingy about me changing the temperature, then I'd rather you be a DJ.
So I would change the temperature?
Yeah. I'd rather you change the temperature and be open to that being done than be someone who's a stickler for this is
all right. Okay, so number two, because I got very nasty very fast. Would you rather your partner never remembers a single story that you tell them, or your partner remembers every single story you tell them but corrects your minor details like the weather all the time?
I think if you never remembered a single story, it'd be great because I could just keep telling you the same stories that I already told you. I was going to say
that's well, I do remember the stories and you still tell me the same stories.
So then it would just work better for both of us. I'd probably eventually get mad because I'm like, can you not remember? I actually rely on you to remember my stories because I've lost them. So
yeah. I ended up, I start forgetting my own story, so I start making some up.
Or blending, when you're halfway through a story and then you're like, crap, I don't think my story.
Someone else's story.
This is someone else's story. Yeah. And then you're like, it's not because you lied, it's because you genuinely set out on that story thinking you were right. And then you're like, either I start to pivot and it look like out? I've lied, or I risk that maybe it's this person's story.
Yeah. Yeah. Number three, would you rather have a partner who takes 45 minutes to get ready?
Did you do these ones on purpose?
Do these, no. This is generic ones.
I think he did this on purpose.
I'm asking a very good question here. Would you rather a partner who takes 45 minutes to get ready, just to go through the drive-through? All right, so you're not doing anything big. It's just to go through the drive-through, very, very fast. Or a partner who is always 20 minutes early and stands by the front door staring at you in silence until you leave. I legit didn't write this with you in mind, but I loved how relevant these were.
Oh my gosh. I would never get ready to go through a drive-through. Let me just firstly say that. I would literally be in the clothes I wore yesterday and on last week's episode.
And the week before. Yeah. But no, that doesn't, this isn't you though. So you think if
would
you're
I
going
rather
to drive
my partner do this? I would rather you be early. Yeah. It'd be annoying and passive aggressive, but I'd rather you be early.
Yeah.
What about you?
I love you just the way that you are. Would you rather, so next question, number 4. I'm asking you the questions, by the way, not the other way around. Yes, would you rather have a partner who narrates their every thought while watching a movie? Like, oh, he shouldn't go in there. Or a partner who pauses the movie every 5 minutes to ask, who's that guy again?
The first one.
First one?
Yeah.
I feel like we get that anyway with the kids.
The narrating.
Yeah. It's like,
we don't get the pause, but we get the question of who's that guy again as well. So we get both of them narrating and the questions.
I think the pausing one is that.
The pausing one irritates me. Yeah. Like there have been times where you have been frustrated by how much people are talking that you'll pause it and listen and then you'll press it. And I don't even know if it's you frustrated or you just are at the point where you're like, I can't keep having people ask me questions.
I'm terrible at multitasking. So if someone's asking me a question and it's at a point in a movie where I want to be paying attention, I can't do both. And I know though, if I'm not paying attention to you, you're going to ask me, it's like, are you listening? I'm like, I'm watching a movie. So no. But so I'll pause it and then we can have the conversation. Then we can continue and I can give both 100% of my attention.
Yeah, with an attitude.
With gratitude.
Was that the last one?
No, number one, one more. Because these were too good. I had to do
very targeted.
Yeah.
And that was the last time we did Would You Rather.
I legit did not do these with you in mind. I actually asked AI relevant couple challenge. So this is everyone.
Well, maybe it's everybody.
Yeah. Would you rather your partner leaves every single cabinet door in the kitchen open, or your partner reorganizes the dishwasher every time you load it because you did it wrong?
I do that to you all the time. But you do it wrong. All of you do it wrong. The kids really do it wrong.
The washing happens. How can it be wrong when it actually happens?
I actually don't mind if everything's in the dishwasher and it's done in a way I don't care, like I don't want it done. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Like you could put the dishwasher on. If the dishwasher is not loaded efficiently and there's dishes left because there's not enough space, that's when I'm like, we can fit it all. Sometimes we shouldn't fit it all, but I'll make it fit.
But then it doesn't wash properly.
But 100% I would rather my partner reorder the dishwasher than leave the cabinets open. That is such a frustration.
We get that. It's like either the cabinet doors are open or there's chairs left in the kitchen from the kids jumping up to open the top cabinets and bump into both of them.
I can totally picture whacking our heads on one of the cabinets eventually.
Yep. Well, that's my questions. I usually do 4 or 3, but these were too good. These were so good. I was having fun.
Going today. Wow.
Oh, so good. So thank you for joining. Would you rather?
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to dive into some hot takes about marriage. And we're going to keep this hopefully a little rapid fire because we got a lot to get through. Marriage hot takes, actually hot takes in general are a lot of fun because I feel like there are just some really controversial things that people believe or expect. And everybody has opinions. I feel like it's one of those things where if you've got, everyone will make a video and they'll be like, it's my hot take. But everyone's got hot takes. So I think it's not as controversial to have difference of opinion. I think it's important for us. But marriage hot takes. These are things you should think about before you get married. If you're getting prepared to be married, listen up. If you have already been married for a while, listen up. Let us know what you think.
Just everyone listen up.
Yeah, you might agree with these. You might not. We don't even know what we think about them yet. And these, I just also really want to say before we dive in, these statements are not our statements. They're hot takes that we've gathered for us to react to. Don't take the words we're saying and make it sound like this is our statement until you listen to the whole response.
Don't even do it.
All right, let's dive in.
Let's go.
Okay, first category to get it out of the way is specifically for wedding prep. Okay, if you're in that stage of life and you're prepping for a wedding, these are specific wedding prep questions. First one, planning a wedding will show you how you both handle stress and conflict.
Yes, I think so. I remember our wedding. So history lesson for our wedding, about history, because that was done.
Because it was way back in history.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, history is yesterday.
It's really deep. So
we had an outdoor wedding and it was in a beautiful place in Hillsville in Melbourne and on the outskirts of Melbourne. And then so our ceremony was under some really big oak trees. It was beautiful.
They were really nice.
And then our reception was going to be at a apple orchard outside, and it was carnival themed. So we had jumping castles and carnival games and things like that. It was really fun. And we had a food van and gelato cart and things.
Marquees. That was a big thing. Marquees were set up.
Yeah, we had marquees. So we had a whole team of people, which was so amazing. Just friends and family helped set that apple orchard up for us. We didn't even rock up.
We were there.
Set it up.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah. So we were all there the day before setting it up.
Yes.
That's part of the context.
I remember this.
Well, I was at least. I don't know where you were.
I don't even know. I don't even remember now.
We definitely didn't do the bulk of the setup.
Yeah.
Our friends and family did, which was amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, on the morning of our
morning
wedding,
of the wedding, yeah.
it started, we got severe weather warnings and things. And so I remember you called me. I was out.
You called me, I think, because you had the wedding planner with you.
No, I didn't, because I was at the shopping center.
Oh.
And then maybe they got onto me or something. And then I called you, and it was our first, no, not our first argument, but it was our first. It was at moments when it was tense on our wedding morning of what do we do, because it wasn't just a matter of, we've got to decide now. So we had to move from our apple orchard. I all had to move to our church because it was inside, and we still wanted the same vibe and everything. And then we had some people not come to our ceremony because they were moving all the stuff from the apple orchard to the church. Again, we were so blessed to have these people, but it was such a stressful thing because it wasn't just a matter of the logistics. It was your plan that you had for that day, like this picture. And it was this expectation of what this day would look like. It was magical. It was amazing. And then that was that grief period for you too of like, oh, it's not going to be that.
Yeah. For me, I was the tense one. Blair was fine. It was me kind of snapping. And it was because you and Mum were all like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And I totally got that. But I was like, my brain, it was actually really a good learning thing for us because I can't just change plans really quickly.
Yeah.
I can better now than I used to be able to, but I had to catch up. Like I was just like everything I'd pictured it to be, and not even just that, but I was like, logistically, how are we going to do that? And then turned out we didn't have to think about the logistics at all because people did it for us, which was amazing. And so I snapped and I was like, I know it's going to be okay, but but I'm not okay right now or something like that. We were on the phone too. We weren't in person. So it was also complicated because I've got my family around. I'm like highly emotional getting ready. And around our wedding was a lot of stress because of my family dynamic. So I was really on edge already. And so it was just like, ooh.
And that was it was very important for you to say that though, because that was such a valid thing. It's like, I know it's going to be okay, but right now I'm not okay. I'm like, dude, that was really cool to know that. And it just shifted my approach to be able to do that. And the fact that you were able to share that, I'm like, great. Okay, cool. You're not okay. This is a different topic now, and it just really switched my mind to that point. Absolutely, planning a wedding will show you how you both handle stress and conflict, and not in a negative way. I think it can really be a positive
Everyone has stress and conflict. You not knowing how your partner is going to handle stress and conflict, and I think this is one of the ones down, a similar one, is not a good thing. Like you should know how your partner handles stress before you get married, because how they handle stress shows a different side of them and helps you guys build that muscle of learning how to work together. So we learned something through that, and we were fine. Like I seriously, within like an hour of that, totally had forgotten and I don't even remember. I don't have any thoughts when I think back at our wedding thinking, oh, I wish it was there. It just was so not important in the end. But at the time, it was really important. So you not knowing how you handle stress and conflict is also a concern. You need to be able to experience that together, and everyone will. And yes, your wedding will bring that up. Yeah. In some ways, it's almost a good kind of pressure cooker time so that you can start to work through some of those things.
Yeah.
So second one, family dynamics during wedding planning are a preview.
Preview of what?
Just a preview of what might be to come. Family dynamics being like extended family dynamics.
During the wedding.
During the wedding prep.
I'm trying to think through that.
I definitely think it previewed dynamics. I think it highlights everyone's dynamics, including what we've just said, your own stress and conflict dynamics. For us, it wasn't bad dynamics. It was just like, oh yeah, there they are. Like it kind of brings all of it to the surface.
I think for me, I'm trying to think through if there was any different previews I got from that process, and I don't think
you hadn't already learned. I don't think there was anything groundbreaking.
No,
for some people there might be.
Well, that's the thing is like if you're not living near your family, or you don't have much to do with your family due to many different circumstances, that could. I mean, it's the thing that brings families together, right?
I think the only thing for ours was I was the first one getting married in my family, and you were the second in yours.
Yeah, and
particularly for my dad, he had a very protective approach to his parenting. So it wasn't bad. It was just more probably tense than some other people would approach it. And so because I was the first kid going through it, I think that probably like was a bigger reaction than any of my siblings received from him when they were getting married.
Yeah.
And again, not in a bad way, just in like not as comfortable of a way as it could have been. All right, next one. Don't confuse wedding excitement with long-term compatibility. Compatibility. I don't know why that word is so hard. Long-term compatibility. So don't confuse being both of you excited to get married and have a wedding with long-term compatibility in your relationship.
Yeah, I see this a lot actually in Christians, right? So a lot of Christians aren't living together before they get married. And so there's this huge excitement behind like that we get married, then we live together. It's like a stepping stone thing, right?
Yeah,
and so there's this thing where, we've heard even from people as well, where it's like, I wish, there's all these things that Christians try not to do before marriage. The focus of not doing those things is getting in the way of looking at that compatibility.
Yeah.
And like, what are our strengths? What is this going to look like in the future? It's more, a lot of focus is on what are we not allowed to do now?
Yeah.
So,
or the excitement of what new season is coming.
Yeah, exactly right. And so that is so true in that sense. Like, don't confuse it.
Yeah, I think as well, what it highlights is the importance of being intentional in prepping during that time. So, and the importance of focusing on, what are we preparing to do? Because it becomes so all-consuming for the wedding plans, and it's huge to plan a wedding, even though we did like a fairly simple wedding, like in terms of like fanciness, and it was still all-consuming.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I think it highlights the importance of being intentional during that time to prepare in a way that is looking at the deeper stuff. We're actually preparing for a life together. We're not just preparing for one specific day. And just because you both might be wrapped up in this excitement for getting married and both of you might be really looking forward to it, does not automatically equal, we're in a really good place and we are a couple that has the compatibility or the foundation for long term. And one of the things that people have different opinions on, and I should probably have put this in the list, is I fully believe that premarital counseling is really helpful. I don't think it transforms every situation. And I don't think it's groundbreaking for everyone. Like, it wasn't groundbreaking for us. We had already kind of processed a lot of that stuff, but I think
the tone for us.
It sets the tone, and I think it's not going to be a negative. Right. But I did have some people concerned. They didn't want to do it when they were getting prepared to get married. And it was almost like a concern of like, why would I dig up trouble just because we're getting married? Why would I want to like focus on what's wrong? And I just think you get swept up in so much emotion and it can almost feel like a Band-Aid, because it's like, we've been together, we might as well get married. And like, then you're all excited about that. And there's so much excitement. And if you're not careful and not intentionally looking underneath and focusing underneath in building that stuff and having those tough conversations and working on that and having different people input into your relationship, then you're going to kind of ride the wave of wedding excitement without necessarily having that foundation grow.
Yeah.
And on a really similar note, pressure around a wedding can make it hard to admit doubts. So pressure because of, overwhelm in terms of planning the wedding can make it really hard to admit your doubts.
Yeah.
And pressure because you're engaged and you're getting married.
It's like too late now,
which is not. It's like literally not. That's one of the hardest things, because I know, having been through engagement, that if we had a moment where I was like, hang on, we shouldn't be getting married, it would have been really hard. I don't know. That would have just felt so hard. And I'm grateful that wasn't our story. But I think you can find yourself getting into that time and find it hard to kind of admit what might be going on and have the hard conversations and even be like, I think we do need to put some prep into our actual relationship while we're doing this. Even admitting that might feel a little bit uncomfortable when you're in that stage. Yeah.
And admitting that isn't saying that you're doomed.
No, exactly.
Like it's taking the intentionality. Like we said, going to pre-marriage counseling for us wasn't like, we weren't digging up old stuff. It set a tone for us, whereas like, no, we're going to be intentional with our baggage. You know, we're going to be intentional with learning each other. We're going to be intentional with making space for these things, not just putting it under the rug or trying to be naive about things, you know.
Yeah. And sometimes that conversation is enough, like just being able to communicate about it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what the next one is, which is doubts before your wedding don't automatically mean you shouldn't marry them, but they're worth exploring. So doubts or concerns or red flags or whatever word you want to put in there, they don't automatically mean you're doomed. And I think that pressure of like, ooh, if I vocalize this thing, it means we're doomed comes in. And that's not true. I think for a lot of the time it wouldn't even be true.
Yeah.
But the lack of conversation around it could make it true.
Yep.
All right, next one. Getting married won't automatically fix communication problems.
So important.
1,000%. If anything, it will inflame them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll lose the honeymoon. Yeah, you'll feel more trapped. You'll that like sparkly honeymoon period will change. So you don't even have the high of that to cover up. Yeah, it doesn't fix those communication problems. What does fix them is communicating. Yeah.
I thought that one coming a mile away.
Last one on the specific to wedding planning. The expense of your wedding won't determine the success of your marriage, and you're not going to remember the color of the napkins on the day.
Oh, dude, I don't even remember how much, and you know, each to their own, okay? So this isn't dissing or anything else like that. But for us, we were not in a financially stable place to have a grand wedding. I was an intern. I was working part-time. I was studying. We just didn't have much money. And so we bought budget wedding, you know, and it was great.
Budget wedding that still was a significant investment, which just blew my mind.
For us, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean...
But in regards to how, compare that to other weddings that we've been to, it was like chips in comparison.
If someone said, come and spend this much money on one day, when it was outside of a wedding, the money that we spent on our wedding, I'd be like, never.
Yeah.
Unless I'm buying my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was really cheap and it was amazing. Like, you know, I remember afterwards we left the wedding. I'm like, dude, I don't even remember who I spoke to. Like, they're so busy. You know, the whole day is so busy. Like, the start, it was pretty chill, you know, waking up, or me and the groomsmen went out for breakfast or something, I think. And then we're just chilling. And then we had the whole issue with the weather warning and everything. And then it just ramps up from there. You're just like, you're here, you're there. Like, when you're sitting and watching, it looks very chill because, you know, you're just seeing the bride come in, and then you see, you know, the groom and all that's already there. They're just standing there, and they go get photos, and then you see them at the reception, and they're just sitting down and eating,
and they're
or something.
chatting to people.
But when you've got a full day of people constantly coming to you, it's such a blur.
And looking at you and paying attention to you. It's really intense.
Yeah. So you don't remember so much of it, and the price tag is not the important thing at the end of the day. Yeah, we could get it done cheap, you know, and it was still an amazing day. We had, so many people had so much fun.
Oh, it was awesome.
And again, it wasn't our dream. Our dream was at this Upper Orchard, which was a beautiful spot. Didn't happen there. I didn't care. Like, in the end, I'm like, this is not a pretty building, but we're here and we're celebrating and we're having fun.
With the people that we love.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, and some people may remember the color of their napkins. I don't want to make it sound like no one ever does.
This is our stuff.
Yeah, I specifically remember our friend who was helping us plan it asking, or even my mom, I can't remember who it was, so I specifically remember, not specifics, asking what color napkins. And I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But also both of us are not high maintenance people. So there'll be things we've got really specific ideas about, and then things that I was just like, I don't honestly, the idea of trying to come up with an answer about that is ridiculous. And so that was helpful. I think a little bit of advice I would give, and I have given multiple times, is pick the things that you will value. And for us, that was video, photos, and our outfits.
But even then, my outfit was cheap as.
Your outfit was cheap as.
And
my dress was nice, but it was not expensive.
Yeah.
And I would change it now. I probably wouldn't go for that vibe, but it was definitely the photos and the video memories, and just some quirky vibes about it that were more important to us than some of the other details that would be important for other people. So pick the things that are going to be important for you and invest there. Oh, and our honeymoon. That was another thing. We did a big honeymoon in Hawaii.
But even then, the tickets were paid for.
Yeah.
You know, we were very, very blessed with the people that we were surrounded by during that. The amount of people that took care of us in that time.
It was really lovely.
And that's not everyone's experience. And I completely get that. You know, I don't want to take that for granted at all. But we were taken care of a lot through that. We didn't even drive ourselves to our honeymoon.
No.
Jimmy and Sarah drove us to the hotel.
I don't think many people drive them. Oh, maybe they do. Anyway, we didn't. Yeah. Our friends did. All right. So let's get into some more harder truths / prickly ones. Sex drives are rarely perfectly matched.
And they also change.
They change.
They're like vice versa. You know, we've had different moments where our drives are higher or lower and it just changes on the circumstance and everything else like that. And I think something like for even us, you know, this is, I think, really important for us to share, not in detail, but is that this is not something that we've got down well either of how to manage the different matches. That's definitely something that we still work through a lot because it just changes. It changes from person to person, situation to situation. Yeah.
Because of our faith, we weren't living together or... Ow, my leg's cramping.
What's happening? What's going on?
This time, I think. Maybe God does not want this comment to come out. Because of our faith, we weren't living together or sleeping together before we got married. And I think people who go into marriage in that way, this can be one of the biggest things you navigate in the first couple of years. And it was for us. It was a huge challenge for not just isolated to this. It was a lot of stuff mixed in with it and a lot of adjustment. And I think I just really was not prepared for how much of my mental energy or adjustment would be going into this particular challenge.
Yeah.
And there's like cliche stories that people throw around, especially like after you have kids or whatever, then there's things that people throw around. So it's not like I didn't know that this could be a thing, but I just wasn't prepared for it to be such a big thing.
Yeah. And again, like for a lot of things, so I've mentioned before, like you were my first proper girlfriend ever, right? And so even in that element, like there's so many things that you learn that, you know, for a lot of people that have had multiple partners before, you know, they get married and stuff like that. And you learn a lot of things through different relationships where for us, we were learning a lot of things. You'd been in relationships before.
Like
you've been in long-term relationships before. I hadn't. So there was so many of those things on top of
emotional adjustment to that stuff, like physical adjustment and then practical adjustment. And we had a really tricky first year of marriage, not because of our marriage. External circumstances. And so all of that stuff is complicated,
and it feeds into all the other stuff.
Exactly. And I think this isn't like a doom or gloom or like a little, what's a negative Nancy or anything like that comment. It's just more to be like, be aware, drives often aren't matched. Sometimes they are, and that's awesome. And sometimes it's a smoother process for people, and that's okay. But just be aware that they're often not matched. And if they're not matched, don't feel like you're falling apart. It's just another part of your life to communicate about.
And if this is an area where you do want to learn more about, you can listen to our episode. What's it called?
Which one are you talking about?
The sex lady.
Yeah, from Sheila. Gregoire. Yeah, there's an episode that we talked to an author who has talked a lot about intimacy and relationships, and that was a really cool episode. We talked to her and her husband Sheila and Keith, and check that out. I can link that into this episode as well. That's really a good episode to check out. And again, it's stuff that I just think people learn so much further into their relationship, these things. And part of that is just because you have to learn through experience, but the more you can equip yourself earlier on, the better.
Yeah. And again, going back to the relationship counseling, the pre-marriage counseling is
all
a
of
big
that
step
stuff.
as well. Whether you've been living with each other or not, that is still a big help.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next one. You marry their habits and not their potential. This means if you are in a relationship with habits that need to be addressed, but the person has all the potential in the world, you're not marrying their potential. You might be if they step into it. They may step into their potential, but more important is to focus on good. You are marrying them for their habits currently.
Yeah, that's good. I was sitting with that. I'm like, I don't know what I think about that. You know, like, but you summarize it, which was great. I think that's really important is, like, love them for who they are now.
Yeah.
You know, marry them for who they are now. If you can't accept who they are now, like, don't bank on that they're going to change from who they are now. And I think that happens with a lot of people. It's like, oh, well, I thought you would change. Like, that's
why?
Well, that's an unfair expectation to put on someone if you're just hoping they will change, and now they haven't. So now you're bringing it up. Now it's a bigger problem. Now it's no. Address that at the beginning. Be aware of that at the beginning.
And if that's something, if that is highlighted to you, and those habits or behaviors are not okay with you now, they're not going to magically become okay. The person might work on them, and hopefully they do. But you need to be having that conversation now rather than expecting that will just work itself out. Similarly to that, marriage won't fix insecurities.
Yeah, I saw that just then, and I'm like, that you can put that to everything.
Everything.
Marriage, kids, hobbies. None of that is going to fix your insecurities. Like, you being intentional with your insecurities and working through those insecurities is what's going to fix them.
Even you fixing those insecurities. So it's like, I'm thinking physically. If like, so often I hear the story, and I've experienced this myself. Like, I've got physical insecurities about how I look or whatever, and I fix that, or it goes away. I've lost weight, or people get their like nose fixed if they don't like their nose, whatever it is. And then they still have the insecurity, because insecurity is different to the actual practical outworking. The insecurity is so often not just the thing that you're insecure about. It's actually such a deeper story.
You just be insecure about something else.
You would just be insecure about something else, or you'll be insecure about that thing on a flip side, or you'll be insecure that thing's going to come back. Like, you need to work on why it's happening.
Yeah.
And your marriage is not going to magically fix that.
No.
Stop. Yeah.
Enough said.
Enough said.
Enough said.
All right. Loving someone doesn't always mean you're compatible. So this was an interesting one.
Yeah, I agree. Like, compatibility, I feel like, comes down to intentionality. I believe that relationship compatibility comes down to relationship intentionality. Not like, love is not enough to move into that. You know, it's like, I loved you so much, but that's not what made us compatible. On paper, we were not compatible at all, because every test that we did. So Amy and I, when we started dating, we were doing an internship together. There was a lot of personality tests. We were running the same ministry together. We were running a youth program, and we were just so different all the time. And we clashed because we did things differently, and we were different. And so on paper, we weren't compatible. What made us compatible was our intentionality to work through those things and to make them our strengths rather than our differences being our weakness. So it actually became our strengths. So that's what I see.
I think the definition of love and the definition of compatibility are hot takes, love especially. So I think some people will be like, we just fell out of love. And I hate that phrase, because I'm like, that's not what love is. An action. It's not a feeling. If you think love equals feeling a certain way about somebody, that is one part of love. It is not love as a whole. Love is an action. You're choosing to love them. It's a giving thing and a feeling thing. And it's a mix of all these things that make love, which is caring for the other person. Like, basically, love is focused on the other person. And it's a choice to love on somebody. And yes, sometimes the sparky kind of romantic vibes may fluctuate, but that doesn't equal love's fluctuating. And then compatibility, because you were saying, which is true, we're so different on paper. What is compatibility? Because like you said, it's the intentionality. Compatibility is probably, I guess some people think it's how automatically you just click. But I am kind of the belief that almost anyone outside of some severe mental health issues, almost anyone can be compatible and work together with the right mix. And yes, some people it will be easier for, and some people it would be more complicated for. But I really think that two willing people are able to make teamwork work, whether it's romantic or otherwise, and be compatible if they're intentional with those things. So I think that's the out of balance thing that people get, is like, one, they put this weird thing on love, which means it has to always feel this way, which is not what love is. It's just a misunderstanding of what love is. And it's actually setting yourself up for failure, because no one feels a certain way all the time. That's just, we fluctuate.
Yep.
And then 2, what is compatibility? Are you being intentional there, or are you expecting everything's just going to work? And we clicked really well. Like there's stuff that was just very natural. And like you said, I had previous relationships, and those things that were natural with us were not natural in those previous relationships. So there is a difference. And there's something that was there that was just a little bit more like, whatever word you want to put in there. But we still had to be intentional. And I think part of the reason that it was smoother and clicked better was because both of us had come into the relationship in that stage of life that we were individually ready to be looking at and working on relationship in the way that we did together intentionally.
Yep.
And if one of us hadn't been at that stage of life, I don't think it would have been as smooth. This one's a big one. This one is the whole reason we do this podcast. If you avoid hard conversations now, they won't just disappear later.
That can just be full stop. It's all in there anyway. And
there's so many people that I talk to all the time, and including I'm not going to speak for you, including myself. There's times where I'm like, it's not worth the conversation, or it's like, it's not even a conscious decision not to bring it up. But sometimes I guess I subconsciously will categorize things and be like, no, it's not worth it. Yeah. But it is never going to make itself better. Like, I can't think of a single time where I haven't raised something that has been significant enough, that has just magically become not an issue without us then having to raise it again later. And then it's often been a much bigger issue.
Yeah. And I think sometimes when you bring something up, it's not an issue for me until you've brought it up. Then the fact that then you've brought it up, it's now an issue for me. Now we've got to work through it. It's no longer an issue for you as well, right? Like we've worked through that, and that's a big part of compatibility. Is that okay? Just because I don't have the issue doesn't make it an issue, right? So we work through that issue now, and now it's not an issue. That's when it's not an issue.
The stuff you don't bring up is often going to just sneakily sit there under the surface and build into other stuff later if you don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
This one's big too. You can't fix your partner. You cannot fix your partner,
no,
and nor should you need to or try to.
I agree with that. I was interested to see what you would say on it, but I agree. You shouldn't want to fix your partner. You should want to support your partner, encourage your partner, lift up your partner. It's like the one you marry their habits, not their potential, right? So marry them for who they are. Don't marry them with them in intent to, I'll marry them, then I can fix them. It's like, no, marry them for who they are. The fixing part is a controlling view. It's I don't know. I think it can be very toxic view of your partner if your intent is to fix them. But if you want to support, encourage, lift up, build up, all that, I think is a lot more positive.
And on the flip side of that too, if the responsibility of their fixing has been put on you and their hands are off of that responsibility, I think there's, But that, in saying all of that, you should be like, the teamwork of working through each other's things is really beautiful. So it's not you can't fix your partner and they also have to do all the work on their own. Like, you can't fix your partner, but you should also be working together and communicating together through those things.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, here's a real hot take. Porn is significant and it needs to be discussed. Not everyone's going to agree on this one.
No, and it's interesting because my mind is very much on our audience, how our audience is, essentially 50% Christian, 50% non-Christian, right? And depending on who you talk to, even in a non-Christian environment, that's probably split 50-50 on this topic as well. But the science and the data behind the impacts of porn on your mind, on your brain, the physical adjustments it does to your brain is pretty full on. And so, for us, we've spoken about this before, but for us, we're very anti-porn. And just know, because we've had to go through that. We've had to go through the research. I've had to go through counseling, through my struggles with it in the past. And, it's really weird to talk about with a lot of guys because the understanding or the view of it in their eyes, for a lot of guys, is very harmless. It's like, what's a big deal? It's not even a big deal. It's like, well, actually, if you look into the science of it, if you start going down that and exploring more, you'll see it is a really big deal for you and for your view of your partner.
And when you say for you, you mean also literally for the physical setup of your brain.
So the physical setup of your brain, you struggle with stress more. You struggle, like your ability to be able to process information is harder. Like it just has huge impacts on your brain.
Yeah, it's a messed up dopamine response.
It's a whole topic you could do on an episode.
And we will do it eventually. Actually, that's one we've been requested to talk about. It's clear what we think about porn, and we've talked about it before on the podcast. It's not something that we think is just okay. It blows my mind, the thought that it's just okay, but that's not neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about it, it is significant. Like that, your approach to that and what decision you guys come to as a couple, it's a significant thing. And I have had people that I know that have been in relationships where they're almost not allowed to have an opinion on it. And not necessarily from their partner saying that or implying that, just because of their kind of like bubble that they're in or their approach to life that they're in. It's almost like they feel like they don't have a right to have an opinion on it. And that's upsetting to me because it is significant. So your approach to this is significant and needs to be discussed. It needs to be agreed on. You need to have things in place that are agreed on for your relationship. And this goes for everything across the board, so that you are on the same page and you have the same expectations of each other and you understand what you're bringing into your relationship if you're doing that. And we will discuss this more on another episode.
So affairs don't just happen. Boundaries with the opposite sex need to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had this conversation, it's not saying like you don't trust yourself, like you're the one that's going to have the affair, you're going to do this, so you've got to put these boundaries in place to make sure that you don't do it. I think that's a lack of understanding of how they can come about. We know people that have had affairs and none of it's ever been like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do this now. This is the action that I'm going to take today. That hasn't been the approach. It's been like these very subtle things and shifts. And it also hasn't been, oops, I slipped. There's been like these very small things and subtle things that have crept in over time. And then it's gone into that and has led them to that point, into a point where they've obviously had to make a decision that, yes, I'm going to pursue this action now. But where we bring it back down to is, again, a big part of us starting this podcast is because journeying with these people, we found that it started by them losing the ability to communicate. And the other thing was they weren't putting in boundaries for themselves to protect themselves from being exposed to different circumstances. So we've spoken about this before. So especially when I was in ministry, we had rules because I would be pastoring a lot of people, meeting with a lot of people, and a lot of my team were females. So how do I interact with them? One, to make them feel safe, but two, to make sure that I'm putting those boundaries in place so you feel safe in regards to me, taking this seriously. And not that I had to prove to you that I won't have an affair. It was more about, no, but I'm just taking this seriously. Like I'm not being naive. Like I'm being intentional with, this is how I won't, And so we've had lots of different conversations through the years on what that looks like. And it's even caused arguments too.
Oh, yeah.
Because other times as well, I'll be like, a situation has arose and you've brought it up or I've brought it up. And it's like, and for me, I would get offended. I'm like, why are you thinking I'm going to have an affair? Why is this such a big thing?
Which I don't say you're going to have an affair.
No. But that's where my mind jumps.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're questioning this. That means you don't trust me. It's all this sort of things. It's like, no, you're not questioning me, but you're questioning how am I putting that boundary in place? Like, where is that boundary? Because I don't know their motives. We don't know their motives in situations and stuff as well.
Yeah. That's like, I think when I think about this, I'm like, well, I think it'd be really easy to never randomly go out one day and end up having an affair. I think that's an easy thing for me to assume is not going to happen. I don't think there's many circumstances where that would play out. What I do think would be a much more complicated and much more slow process that you may not even catch until you're already down a slippery slope is opening yourself up to relationships and emotional connection with people that you genuinely enjoy and probably genuinely get along with, or have some kind of like work is a good example, or, some kind of thing that's bringing you in proximity to each other. I do think, and have seen this play out, unfortunately, that it's easy to find yourself starting to emotionally connect with somebody. And then once those emotions get complicated, that's when it becomes a much more difficult thing to detect. And also for us, one of the other things is it's so much easier to have a more firm boundary early on before it's even complicated like that than to have something like a friendship or a dynamic start to play out and then have to put a boundary. Like that's just a lot more complicated. And it's not just about your own heart and your own ability to do or not do what you should or shouldn't be doing. It's about how your partner is feeling, about how you're respecting and honoring them. It's also about how the other person, like you kind of mentioned, you can't control another person. We don't know we don't know how they are. So we can't bet on knowing exactly their approach to life and also knowing how they're going to read our actions. And so it's just from our opinion, it's a safer thing to have a further back boundary in this space. So we don't do one-on-one things with people from the opposite sex. We have friends that are from the opposite sex, but we've got some pretty clear boundaries in how we approach that. And it's not like we're like, oh, I don't talk to men or I don't talk to women. Like it's not an awkward thing. It shouldn't be an awkward thing. It's just that we have had these things where we put boundaries in place, and not everyone's going to feel like that boundary needs to be in the same place. But I think it's pretty clear that most of the time affairs don't just happen, and boundaries need to be clear. So again, it needs to be one of those things that you discuss. It's significant, just like the one we just talked about in the previous point. It is significant and you need to be on the same page before it becomes an issue. If you can have that conversation before it's even something you're like having to actually navigate, it's so much easier that way.
The next one is the mental load doesn't sort itself out. And what I want to say is if you don't know what mental load is, go check out our episode on mental load. That's a really important one. Again, we've shared this before. It's been our most reacted to episode, like people writing in and conversations that we've had about how eye-opening it was. So go check that out. It's a big one if you don't know what that is. And it's so important to realize it doesn't work itself out. And it's not a magic thing of like, oh, now you know what it is, so fix it.
Or now you know what it is, so it's going to be perfectly balanced.
No, it's not. This is an ongoing check with each other on how it's all going.
Yeah. And if you don't know what mental load is, it might be something at play.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. When you marry someone, their family comes with them.
Yeah.
This is big.
It is big. And for a lot of people, it's the hardest part of the relationship, which is really sad. But at the same time, this is what you're committing to, you know, to be able if I didn't like your family and I liked you though, and I kind of put you in a position where you choose me or them, like that's rough.
Yeah. It's not just the family as in the people. It's also the family culture. It's the family. There was another one.
Values.
The family values. There's another one. I don't think I included it. And it was the generational trauma.
Yeah.
Like there's all this stuff that comes from the families and the family of origin from each side.
Yeah.
That they don't not come. Even if there's like, you know, boundaries, and even if you've decided as your own individual people and as this new couple to have a very different approach, you still navigate that. And so the idea that you don't need to navigate that is naive, because you will. And the pressure that can put on a relationship if it's not something you're aware of, and if it's not something you're a team in, can be really hard.
And if I'm not willing to work on that's putting a load on you.
It puts a load on me.
Yeah.
And so many of the Reddit stories we've read have got to do with family dynamics clashing, and just it puts a load on me if you're not willing to work on it with me. It puts a load on me if you're not on my side and you're on your family. Like if there's like a weird divide there or something like that, it is. Or if you're not willing to acknowledge what's been brought in from your families, or why you might have these certain like preferences or approaches to things from your family history, like all of these things, it's part of it. So you just need to be aware of it and be on the same team.
I remember I've even had to be intentional with my growth with your family too. Not always the best way, but I remember we've had to meet with family members and things to work things out. It's like, well, if I'm putting that, you know, if I'm putting that effort in with you, I need to put that in more with you, absolutely. But if I'm not willing to put that in with your family at all, there's so much other pressures and stress there too. I think I have a duty to do that as well, to be included in that family, to feel a part of that family,
to actually
as well.
Be family.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, you're just kind of an observer. And like, I've been really grateful for your willingness to come to the table when there's whatever, which there will be. Families always have stuff. Sometimes it's more intense and sometimes it's less. But if you hadn't been willing to do that, then I would be doing that on my own. And then it's like an in-between thing, and that's such a common issue.
The next one is attraction changes over time. And I wanted to do this one because it's not that you're not attracted to each other over time, but what you're attracted to changes over time, right? So this is the thing is like when I was first attracted to you, we're going to recap this really quickly. You went up on stage on church. I saw you. We made eye contact and I had a visual attraction to you, right? Then I got to know you. Then I was attracted to your personality. I was attracted to these things. Over time, I don't see you as much of like, I'm attracted to your personality. I'm attracted to this specific thing about you. It's like, no, I'm attracted to Amy. It's more of this complete picture of who you are now, not just an element of you. Yeah. So attraction does change over time and it's beautiful. I think it deepens over time because it's the more whole view of your partner rather than a single element that you're looking at. It's like, oh, I'm not attracted to that. It's like, well, no, I don't look at you and compartmentalize you. This is you. This is who you are, and that's who I'm attracted to.
Yeah. I've said this before on the podcast too. It's like I sometimes have to look at you and like it's like I turn on a different part of my eye to see you physically because exactly that. Like if I think about Blair, I'm not thinking about his face. I often am thinking about his beard.
That's everyone.
But it's almost like those pictures that like animations people do where they don't have a face and it's just a vibe. Yeah. And you can tell by the way the person's standing that that's who they are.
Yeah. I can pick you out in a crowd.
Yeah. Because of just exactly. I'm never like, is that Blair? So attraction, I totally agree. It just becomes who they are. Yeah. And I think it can feel panicky to people because they might I think it's a mix of all of these things, right? So they might get to the point where they're like, oh, the spark is gone. I don't feel love. Or when you're 70 something years old versus when you're in your 20s and you've met each other, the physical on paper attraction is going to be different because you are different. And so it'd be silly to think just because they don't look like a 20-year-old anymore, you're not attracted to them anymore. Like you have to figure that out. Yeah. And if you don't have good boundaries in place for things like porn, which is feeding your brain a certain story and reinforcing a reward loop that is unhealthy and unnatural in so many different ways, or boundaries with other people, or if you don't have a good understanding of what love is and what attraction is and what being in a relationships that's thriving is, and you don't have this foundation and this emotional intimacy, yes, you're going to start to question when things start to shift, which they will. You will start to feel rocky and potentially question it like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. The things changing is not a bad thing. You just need to be grounding in the things that are healthy in order for that change to feel like, yeah, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And that leads us well into the last one, which is you will both change.
Yeah.
And you will. And we have changed so many times. Much, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Like sometimes when I look at our photos from when we were dating or even our wedding or even that first year of marriage, I don't actually recognize us, not physically, just it's like I can't see the same thing, like that vibe that is Blair in my head now. I don't see that in us as that because we were so different.
What we've been through, where we live, what we do as occupation, everything has changed really since being together.
Personalities, approaches, preferences. Yeah. Like it's just, and that's that is the beautiful thing of being with someone for a lifelong commitment in marriage is you're not committing to being with them the way that they are when you get married. And that's what you're committing to. You're committing to walking life together, and life is full of change. And when you're able to communicate through those changes is when you really start to see the benefit and the beauty and the strength and what makes it so special and rewarding. Because there's no one else that's going to know you like your partner will, as long as you're doing it in a way that's constructive and you're bringing each other closer and closer together. And so what an awesome benefit that is to get to 70, 80 something years old, 90, 100, who knows?
120
and
140
and have that like context together and have walked those things together. That's why so many older people die within a year of their partner dying, because their lives, it's called heartbreak syndrome or something like that. Their lives are so intertwined. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
There are our takes on the hot stuff.
Let us know if you disagree. Let us know what you think. Yeah,
which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you have strong opinions on? We want to hear from you guys as well. You just heard from us. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you have any other hot takes you want us to do as random little interjections of episodes, please let us know too, because I'm no longer worried about offending people. This year, I just really don't care. I mean, not care.
Yeah,
but it's such a different
intentionally
approach.
Trying
if
to
you disagree with me, cool. That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.